Hey everyone, so I have a little bit of a problem. I got another big box of books. Now, I know what you're all going to be saying. Oh no, he got another box filled with books for free. What a problem to have, right? And I know it's not a real problem. It's really not. It's just I have so many books that I don't know what to do with. I want to read the vast majority of them, but I don't have room to put them, and I really don't have time to read them, at least not to read all of them, not for the foreseeable future. Obviously, that's not a big problem to have. That's not a bad problem to have. It's probably a good problem, right? Well, I just got this box of books from my mother-in-law as opposed to my father-in-law, so it's probably going to be filled with a lot more classic books and things like that, as opposed to science fiction and fantasy. But I figured, since I got this, I might as well do a quick unboxing and show you all what I got. Let's get started. Okay, and the first book we have is this, Galapagos by Kurt Vonnegut. I have heard of the author, but I've never heard of this book before, so definitely want to check this out. Then we have this, Stories from Seven Old Favorites. This is probably wow, this is a very old book. The Children's Hour in 10 volumes, illustrate. Oh my goodness, pages are falling out of the book. This is a very old book. Stories from Seven Old Favorites is selected and arranged by Eva March Tappan. Yeah, so it looks like this is just a bunch of short stories. I don't know, I'll have to check this out. Could be interesting. Oh, here we go. So we do have a little bit of fantasy. Here we have Margaret Wise, Mistress of Dragons. Looks interesting. Oh, okay, here we go. The Red Badge of Courage. This is by, who is this by? I should know that. Stephen Crane? I've heard of this book before. This is definitely a classic. In fact, I might have read this book in high school. I'm not sure. Cool. Now, a lot of these books are old. Oh, here we go. The Odyssey by Homer. It's missing the jacket, but that's okay. Of course, another classic, another book that I read in high school, so that's cool. Robinson Crusoe, very good. Daniel Defoe. I actually already have this book, but this edition is in much better shape than the other version of this book I have, so that's fantastic. This is a great book. Oh, here you go. The Return of the King by J.R.R. Tolkien. I, of course, have the whole Lord of the Rings trilogy, but this is cool. I don't have just like the single book like this, so that's kind of neat. Cool. Okay. Dragon's Dawn by Anne McCaffrey. Never heard of this before, but could be interesting. Neat. Catcher in the Rye. I actually just recently read this book. Again, another book, another classic book that I did end up reading in high school. Pretty good book, though. Not one of my favorite classics, but still a pretty good book, so this is cool. The Canterbury Tales. This is by Geoffrey Chaucer. I mean, everybody's heard of the Canterbury Tales. I've never read this book, though. I know it is a classic, so I'll definitely want to check this out. Here we go. Ooh, A Treasury of Sherlock Holmes by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. Is this like a, this is probably a collection? Oh yeah, so it has A Study in Scarlet, The Hound of Baskervilles, and like every single short story written. Wow. It's fantastic. I love Sherlock Holmes, so this is great. This is another very, very old book. Missing the dust jacket, but that's okay. Love Sherlock Holmes. Journey to the Center of the Earth, another classic book. This one I haven't read before, but I have heard of it. I'll definitely want to check this out. That's awesome. Oh, what is this? Madame Bovary. Oh, Madame Bovary. Okay. Unabridged. Okay. This is by, who's this by? Gustave Flaubert? Flaubert? I'm probably murdering that last name. I'm not sure. But that's that's another classic book. I'll definitely want to check that out. Oh, this one's like new or something. Here you go. The Return of the King again. J.R.R. Tolkien, of course. Cool. This one's like all wrapped up. I don't know if this is like brand new. It kind of does look like it's brand new. Has the cover art is picture from the movie. I'm never really a fan of those cover arts for books, but of course, an amazing book. Oops. That's okay. Hey, here you go. Stephen King. I don't have like any Stephen King books. I don't know why. Because back in like high school and college, I loved reading Stephen King. But I always got them from like the library or something. I've never actually really owned any Stephen King. This book, The Outsiders, I haven't read the Stephen King book before. I think this is one of his newer-ish books, I believe. Oh yeah, 2018. So yeah, this is definitely a newer Stephen King book. Haven't heard of this one before. There you go. The Phantom of the Opera. Very good. Haven't read this book before either, but definitely a classic. I want to check this out. Okay, Around the World in 80 Days, another classic by Jules Verne. This is an amazing book. I haven't read this book since, again, like high school, but I do remember when I did read this book, I absolutely loved it, so that's fantastic. And this is like this is a thick version. Look, it even has like artwork in it. Colored artwork too. This is like in mint condition too. That's very cool. What the? Books are falling apart in here. I don't even know. What? Okay, well, 2001 A Space Odyssey. This book is in absolutely terrible shape. I don't even know what's going on with this book. I already have this book, though, so that's cool. But, yeah, fantastic book. Ooh, and then next we have A Wrinkle in Time. I remember when I read this book when I was a child, honestly. I don't know how old I was. I might have been like 12 or something. I absolutely loved this book. This was my favorite book for the longest time. And this book is honestly what got me into reading fantasy and science fiction. So this is like a nostalgia hit right here. Absolutely amazing book that I probably haven't read in like 20 plus years. I'll definitely want to read it again to see if I love it as much as I do. But amazing book, at least when I originally read it. Love this book. Okay, well, this is Ursula K. Le Guin, excuse me. Jane on Her Own, A Cat Wing's Tale. This is like a very short book. It has like some artwork in it. I have no idea what this is, but Ursula K. Le Guin, that's cool. All I really need to know, I learned from watching Star Trek. Okay. Not sure what this is, but that's an interesting title. I love Star Trek, especially like original Star Trek and Star Trek Next Generation. I haven't watched any of the new Star Trek stuff, but those two series, amazing. Ah, here we go. Ranger's Apprentice, Book 1 in the Ruins of Galoran? Gorlin? Not entirely sure what this is. Name sounds vaguely familiar, though, so I want to check this out. Looks pretty interesting. The Light Fantastic. Ooh, Terry Pratchett. Okay, I do have some Terry Pratchett. Is this... yeah, so this is part of Discworld. Interesting. I don't have any of his Discworld books, but I have heard very good things about that series, so I want to check this out. Couple stuck books. All right, what do we have here? Alice's Adventure in Wonderland, another classic book. And Through the Looking Glass. So I think that's the sequel, I believe. I don't know. But yeah, definitely two classic books. So that's fantastic. Okay, here you go. Some Harry Potter. I already have all of the Harry Potter books, but this is in the Deathly Hallows. Is this book number 6? Oh no, I should know that. This is the last book, book number 7. See, I haven't read this. I haven't read any of the Harry Potter books. And I mean, when did this come out? Like 25 years ago now, maybe? Let's see. 2007. So, oh, it hasn't been that long. I thought it was longer than that. All right. Well, okay, it's been like close to 15 years since I've read this, but still, love Harry Potter. I never finished reading the Harry Potter books. I got to I think the 5th one, and then the end of the series got spoiled for me, and I just kind of gave up reading them. I really need to go back and read through the series again, because I absolutely loved reading it in high school, so that's cool. I already have this book, but it's nice. Stephen Erickson, The Gardens of the Moon, Volume 1, of Malazan, the Book of the Fallen. So I have heard a lot of good things about the Book of Malazan, the series that Stephen Erickson has written. I've heard it's a very difficult series to read, but I guess this is the first book in the series, so that's very cool. And this book's in really good condition. Fantastic. I want to check that out. Okay, here's more J.K. Rowling. Fantastic Beasts, the original screenplay. I haven't really heard many good things about this, or about, because I think, yeah, this is a movie, right? I haven't heard many good things about the movie or this book. I don't know. Maybe I'll want to check this out, since I was a big fan of Harry Potter back in the day, but this book is in like mint condition, so that's nice. Let's see, Agnes Grey by Anne Bronte? Again, I can't pronounce the names, but I think this is another classic, so that's very cool. Let's see, and then we have more Tolkien. The Legend of Sigurd and Gudrun. Okay, very cool. I do not have this J.R.R. Tolkien book. I have like all his other main ones, like the Silmarillion, the Hobbit, the Lord of the Rings, but I do not have this one, so that's fantastic. I'll want to definitely read this. Oh, there you go. Yeah. The Hobbit. Very cool. Is this... oh, okay, so this is a reader's companion to The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings, because I was going to say, this is way too small for this to be The Hobbit. Interesting. All right, what is this? Shadow March, Volume 1 by Tad Williams. Again, not a book I've heard of, but looks like it could be interesting. I want to check this out too. Oversea Under Stone by Susan Cooper. I think this is another classic, or at least the title sounds familiar. I don't know. I'll have to look at that one too. Silver on the Tree by Susan Cooper. Okay, so is that maybe a sequel? Not entirely sure. I want to check that out too. The Book of Merlin by T.H. White. The true last chapter of The Once and Future King. Okay. The Once and Future King I know is an absolute classic. Is this like a sequel to that book or something? I don't know. T.H. White's a great author, though, so I'm sure this is a fantastic book, so that's awesome. And another Tad Williams, this is Shadow Play. So I'm going to assume that this is a sequel to that other Shadow, what was it? Shadow March. So this is Shadow Play, so maybe the sequel to that book? But yeah, looks cool. Fantastic. All right, and that is all of the books in that box. So like I thought, I mean, actually there were more science fiction. Actually, I don't think there were any science fiction, but there were more fantasy books in that box than I was thinking there would be, but also a lot of classic books, some of which I already have, but some of those books are in much better shape than versions I currently own. Well, some of them are in much worse shape than I currently own. But yeah, that was cool. Fantastic. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you have any comments about any of these books or any recommendations or things like that, please let me know down in the comments below, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.